Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 13 of the anime series Log Horizon 2. And I have to say, I really enjoyed this episode. It was very fun and lighthearted. Of course, it's February 14th in the series, and it's pretty much Valentine's Day, although that's not a staple in the sort of, Elder Tale framework, but there is a very sort of romantic mythology on that date, and it surrounds this particular kind of fruit, the Coconia fruit, which we basically open the episode seeing Sarara, looking very longingly over, having the same idea she basically supposes as everyone else because of the mythology around this fruit, that if you give it to somebody you are interested in romantically or what have you, they will either profess their love to you or they'll, basically admit to whatever fascination or love that they have for anything, pretty much. We find out by the end of this episode with Rudy, he loves being around his friends and everything like that. And so this coincides with Sarara's wanting, I guess, to give it to Nyanta in that framework, because we know she's kind of smitten with him and everything. And we also have this overarching similar situation with Akatsuki and, of course, Minami, who are both pining over Shiro. And you have Tetra being very adorable, and still nobody knows, well, at least now Sugu doesn't know that it's a guy in female form and everything like that. And I just think that's hilarious and adorable at the same time, because that character is adorable. It doesn't really matter whether there's a male or female guys behind it, of course. But I love that everyone's kind of whispering and ribbing now Sugu for not figuring it out at this point. But of course, she prompts Akatsuki and Minami to go ahead and figure out a way to approach Shiro with this particular kind of fruit. Make some sweets. They get Nyanta's help in this episode, and they want to figure out who Shiro might have interest in, of course, thinking that it could be Konami. We haven't seen this character mentioned in a while, at least in, Series 2, Season 2. The former leader of the Debauchery Tea Party, of which Shiro was a part, and now Sugu and other characters that we see in this episode. And I've been wondering ever since they referenced her character, and of course we see her in the OP animation, when she would crop up again in this story, and would she actually full-fledgedly, become a main character in the series. And, of course, with the preview for the next episode, we know that we're going to be following her probably on the China server, which is very intriguing, that she's sort of so far away on a whole different server, but that this, Elder Tale come to life thing seems to be all over the world. That's been one of the longest standing questions since the series began. How far and wide does this reach, where people are living in this virtual realm come to life and everything like that? Was it just self-contained to the Yamato server where the show takes place? Or was it elsewhere in the world? And I guess we're going to get that finally answered officially in the next episode when we do follow Konami. And it'll be interesting to see her character and see if she will potentially be reuniting with Shiro and such like that, whether they'll be adversarial, whether they'll be working in tandem as partners and such. And if, in fact, because, of course, Shiro did not admit, readily, he was very shocked and sheepish at the question put to him by Tetra, was there any kind of fling between him and Konami? So it'll be very intriguing to see exactly where that standing is. Is it just an admirational thing, or was he actually, smitten with her the same way Sarara is Nyanta and everything like that? And I like that a lot of this episode was so lighthearted, was so fun. Now, Sugu, of course, being wooed by Marielle, and then because he was so nervous and put on the spot, of course, his mind goes dirty, and Akatsuki blinks out of, the cooking she's doing to just kick his ass, as she always does. And then she does it again when they come in and, he's trying to get a taste of the cake that they've made for Shiro, stuff like that. But I also really, really like that we got some expositionary stuff in this episode relating to some of the more dramatic elements. Of course, the first very much has to do with the boundary all around Akihabara, where they've taken down that energy barrier essentially to keep monsters out and to keep everyone inside safe. They did this to deal with that Nelreth serial killer character, and basically Shiro's talking to this other guy about how they're both surprised that no monsters have readily tried to impact Akihabara at all, and there has been no civil unrest. You have certain of the, warrior guilds or knight guilds, whatever they are, sort of acting as security, I guess, to protect the people of the land and making sure there aren't any sort of, fights between adventurers and people of the land, which is intriguing to me. How they're going to keep that going in the long term with other factions potentially outside Akihabara looking to, cause trouble and stuff like that, as we've seen in the past. Remains to be seen how well this is going to continue to work out. Maybe that'll be a factor going from this point on, trying to keep other factions out and trying to deal with them. Who knows? But then, of course, we're falling back on the whole, where the hell did Krusty go? And it's been my question, was he actually fully killed? He didn't respawn. He just sort of, vanished, as well as his right-hand lady's, no pun intended, right arm, as it would be. She lost her arm. We see her being fitted with a sort of robotic or cybernetic arm in this particular episode. And the question is, where did the arm go? Where did Krusty go? What exactly is going on? We also see Lanessia very briefly, still sort of, I don't think she's come to terms with how she feels about Krusty or the interest she has in him, but she does readily ask, where is that, stubborn beast or whatever, which hints to the overall, what she thinks of him. She's concerned about him because nobody has heard from him since. And it's insane. That whole aspect, like what happened exactly? Was he transported back to the air quotes real world, the origin world for all these characters, or not? We also have a very sort of, mysterious thing that happens with Rudy, where he just disappears halfway through the episode. Not like Krusty, of course. He just went off to do something. He, got away from his group, his friends, for a little while. And he said he had something to do when he finally showed up again, before, of course, admitting his love for his friends and everything. And it was just one of those small things where it was like, oh, well, I don't need to pay attention to this at first. And then when you realize, oh, he's just sort of, shrugging it off. Oh, I just went to do something. Well, what? What was he doing? Who did he go see? Who did he go talk to? What's exactly going on? With his history, knowing he is a person of the land, or at least is now a hybrid, I think, was the last place we left him, of adventurer and person of the land. It makes me wonder, because, of course, then we get to the more dark aspects of this particular episode, with this, Intix once again showing up, and just being primeval, primordial hatred and scathing toward this, I guess, pseudo-princess Nereha. And I think we've seen this character before. I vaguely think I remember seeing her at one point, encountering Shiro and maybe some words being exchanged. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm remembering incorrectly. But whatever reason, they basically have this character, Nereha, completely locked in like this dark room, and there's been a contract or deal made between her and this Intix, this just evil, I'm sorry, bitch. She's an evil bitch. Saying all these hateful things about you're ugly, your past smells like a sewer, and you'll never connect to anybody. No one will ever appreciate or want you, and all these kinds of hateful things to keep, I guess, her under Intix's thumb. Because of this deal, which involves, I don't know if this is Intix's way of sort of taking a jab at her, if this is actually the deal in question, but she says something about, you'll collect and make dolls for yourself, and that'll be your friends, and that'll be how you find your worth and everything like that, while you'll be closed off from the rest of the world. And as a result, I'll be able to take control of the Yamato server, whatever that means. How exactly that's going to work it's just going to blow my mind to find out. And of course, it kind of, pertains to this whole idea of what they call the Council of 10 Seats. I don't even begin to know what that is, but it seems like the impression I get with how evil this bitch was, it may be the antithesis to the Round Table of Akihabara. Maybe it's going to be like sort of the Legion of Doom to the Justice League in DC Comics, where it's just bad people. She hates Shiro, and she doesn't want this Nereha to have anything to do with Shiro. And of course, that's exactly what Nereha, the fuel to keep her going is. She's thinking about Shiro. We see her having one of these Kikonia fruits, and it makes me wonder, is her interest romantic? Is it like, Shiro represents a challenge to Nereha, and that's why she's interested in him? whatever the case, Intix and I guess the rest of her people don't want Noreha to have anything to do with them for the sake of the safety of whatever their own ominous foreboding plan is, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen episode 13 of Log Horizon 2, what you thought of it. Did you have fun with it? Did you appreciate all the expositionary information telling us basically the new direction of the story, and are you looking forward to finally seeing Konami in this series proper in the next episode on the China server, I guess. And so yeah, otherwise I hope you enjoyed the video and that it finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.